is in conjunction with the lens-on snapshots, which have been released on YouTube, which are little snippets, like 2 or 3 minutes of information presented by, I think it's Dr. Claire or Professor Claire Keenan, who is a historian, and just sort of goes through little interesting tidbits. So I'll show you that as well. But thought I'd start off with the actual game itself. It's currently, at time of recording, it's just been released on the winter sale, the Steam winter sale. So there's 20% off at the moment. So I thought I'd just mention that. So if you are wanting to get it, now's a good time, just before Christmas. Merry Christmas, by the way, if you are watching this around that period. If you're watching this afterwards, then Merry Christmas from last year. Anyway, I won't continue on there. But you can see through here, there's the lens-on snapshots. This is just a continuation of, the follow-up to the actual series of the lens-on series. And then we do a live stream where we try to sort of cover some of the things that were mentioned and bring them into sharper focus within the game Field of Glory Kingdoms. That's the idea of these live streams. So, and we're in a bit of a precarious position in the live stream that we've been playing. We've been playing as Wales in that particular live stream. So anyway, this the game does rate very positive in the Steam reviews. It is a awesome medieval history sort of. It's almost like a larger focus. Like you can actually play this fairly quickly. I don't play it quickly, but you can play it quickly. I tend to sort of try to get into the nuts and bolts as much as I possibly can. And there's a lot of depth in this game, like a hell of a lot. It is separate, I should say, from games like Crusader Kings, which focuses more on about the family politics, whereas this is more sort of like a more of a macro view of the whole empire type system. So it sort of works in differently, and of course it also does handshake very well with the with Field of Glory Medieval. So we'll be playing some of the battles in that as well, I would guess, coming up. Right, just quickly going back through the lens-on snapshots. These are a series of videos that are sort of done. There's a playlist for them actually. It's probably going to be, I would imagine, in here somewhere. Yeah, Dr. Claire Keenan, there she is there. Not seeing the actual playlist there, but anyway, there is a playlist of these. These are quite interesting, actually, I've got to say. I've quite enjoyed watching these, where they do talk about different things. In this case, we're talking about warfare and fortifications, which works in very, very well from where we currently are in the game that we're playing. So let's go and open up our game. So you can see through here, there's a few of these different ones that have now sort of come back through as well. Again, interesting little snapshots, little historic snapshots of the Middle Ages. All right, let's go and minimize that. And I think that's all we need to do, I think. And get into the game. So I'll open up where we are. And I've sort of forgotten exactly where we got to. I know that we killed the English king in the last episode, I think it was, or it might have been the episode before, but the English king died, so we have a new king on the throne who we're at war with. This is before the Norman invasion, so we're still running ahead of that history. Let's just go and load in our game. And so, yep, Daz Slytherin Wales 02. That will be fine. So we'll load that one in. So there's a few different things where the game abstracts and models warfare and also authority and the way that the nobles sort of worked within the feudal system and with other systems as well within the actual game itself. So I'll sort of do my best to explain how they're sort of working as well as we go through it. So we're playing as Wales, back and through here. Wales originally consists of just these four, including Anglesey, back out through there. So we've got these four in through here. We have a vassal in through here, so Dubith, back in this other side as well, who is fighting with us against England. We did take over Morganwig, which was an independent, back and through here as well. And so we have we're building up this area as well with different sorts of buildings, which we'll talk about as we get into the actual game itself. By the way, if anyone is watching and they've got any questions about the game, please just sing out, and I'll do my best to zip across. I normally try to put in a little note that we are, this is definitely something where we can, talk about different aspects. I might also just reposition where my head is. I think I'm just going to try to. I'll try to affect that now, just so that I can sort of do that one. Always end up with it in the wrong position, but oops, wrong face cam. I'll just turn that one off. There's the Slytherin cam there. think if I move it to there, I think that's pretty good. I need to be able to show the buttons this time. That will be a bit more important, I think, in this particular episode. So I'll just go back to the actual game. Oh, am I over the buttons? Am I close enough? Yeah, I'm over some of the buttons. Just bear with me one more time. Just move it up a little bit to there. That hopefully will be okay. I think we'll be out of the way there. All right, so this is, sorry, I'm going to just lock that in. Yeah, that's in a good position. Just lock that away. And we're back again. Jeez, so sorry if anyone's got flashing light syndromes and stuff like that that causes like problems for you. That should be the last time we have to move, I hope. So we've been in this war for a little bit of time. We're only 15 turns in. We're turn 15 in the actual game itself. The year is 1061, so we're still before the 1066. It's not even a trigger. It may happen any old time. But England is no longer the England that we know from history because we had a massive battle. Well, it wasn't even a massive battle. It was a fairly easy battle. What happened was, and I'll just quickly try to summarise the history of what we actually had through here. So we're playing as Wales. We ended up being in a war with Mercia, and we declared war on Mercia. And so Mercia then retaliated along with their overlord, which was England, and also the other English, like we've got Northumbria is at war with us, we've got Wessex is at war with us, and England is at war with us as well. So we've got sort of like this is the Sussex and different places in through here, but essentially we're at war with all of the English counties, I would imagine, or duchies. I'm not sure which one they actually are. Now, I'm not sure why we've got like an army running backwards towards our territory back and through here. I don't know why that's the case. We've got a Welsh army then through there. It's only got a combat power of 28. There's 7 units in it. I can't remember what the reason was, to be honest. I know there was a reason for it. We were trying to move it back into here. We also then have, so we've got some Welsh armies from Dubith, which are just sort of really just coming across just to sort of sit on the areas that we're in. And I'm not sure again why they've done that, but we might even follow suit here a little bit and move off and just even keep some of these, just so we've got a presence everywhere. We are pretty much okay with North Wales, except that there is actually an army sitting back inside Hereford. And so in Hereford, we do actually have a Mercian army, which is not insubstantial. Like it actually does have, it's technically besieged, but it's not going to really last all that long. Let's go through the different notices that we've actually had. So we've got, you've received a new regional decision. It was Absorb Minor. So we can actually go and do this one now. These regional decisions are super important that you actually see what they actually are. So we've got Absorb Minor in through here, which is going to be a region currently owned by rebels or minor independents, can be absorbed into your nation. There is no certainty about that, and underdeveloped regions have more chance to accept your new rule than developed ones. Now we've already taken over the province that was close by. This one here. So Morganwig would essentially be in that role. Now we can have up to 16 of these, so I can still get a few more of these coming back in. We've got different gifts. We've got mercenary companies back in through here that we can then go and get. Now the mercenary company is something that was mentioned in the videos, in those lens-ons, like the Spotlight sort of series of videos, talking about as this period develops, mercenaries become much more prevalent as the changes to chivalric society sort of kick in. So we've sort of got that happening in through there as well. We've also got motivate troops in through this other side as well. Not that we need it at this point in time. Now we've got the sneak attack as well, where we can sort of go in and do different sorts of sneaky things. The authority cost to declare war is reduced by 20 points against this nation that we've targeted. So is that that's Wessex. We're at war with Wessex, though. It's a vassal of England. Not sure why that would be considered a sneak attack. Anyway, let's continue on with other things. There's so many different things. The depth of this game is unbelievable. So it's sort of one of these things where there's a lot abstracted in the game as well. So it's sort of one of these games where, as I say, there's a lot modelled, and there's a lot modelled that you may not even be fully aware of. We can see that down through here. Our main army is sitting back in through here. This is our main Welsh army. I think I may have moved some of the light javelin men back across, just so that they're actually, because we had a lot of them in the actual army that we've got, and it may be because we might be heading into other territories fairly soon. Now, Worcester, we've actually been able to take over from Mercia, so we're taking all the Mercian lands first, and we've still got this one through here. We've got Gloucester, and we've got an England army coming back up through. So another English army coming through with Edward Goldingham. And through here. Now, I don't know if Edward is the commander, but we did actually destroy another English army that was under the rulership of the current king. That was Harold Godwinson, I think it was, at that point in time. And we ended up killing off the English king in battle. So that was sort of like a fairly major setback for the English and for their vassals. So we ended up being like in a tricky position with our military to suddenly being in a fairly strong position. Now, I'm not exactly sure where this one is going to. It may be coming up towards us. I could go and besiege this castle in here. So Hereford, we could besiege with our large army here. We have taken units away, and I think it's to do with the manpower, trying to get our manpower down. That may be the reason that we're sort of moving things away. I know that we certainly had some problems that we were trying to circumvent. Let's have a read of a few more of these. We have a pretty good understanding of where Mordig loyalties lie. So exact loyalty now known. Now this is actually one of our court. Mordig is actually a court member. If we have a quick look at the nation panel and then go to this one through here, we do have, and this, if we're looking at the loyalty factor in through here at this point in time. Actually, we'll click that one on. So now is Mordig? Yeah, here he is here. And so he is an uncle, and his loyalty is 46. It's not terrible. We do have one that is bad. He's a 32. These two here are potential troublemakers for us because their loyalty is low. Females aren't going. She's our sister, and so even though her loyalty is bad, it doesn't really matter much in the sense that she won't be able to raise an army. But our two uncles certainly are fairly disloyal at this point in time. One's benevolent and one is stingy. And they will then show up as potential problems over through here. So we've got so Ithil has a loyalty of 32 and can make a coup while at the court. It's a lower chance, and Mordig has a loyalty of 46 and can make a coup while at the court. So click to focus on the region. Yeah, so the region is our capital back in through here. It's the way that one sort of then goes and works. Okay, next turn we have a battle was fought in Worcester between Wales and Mercia. So we had a battle that took place in here. So this is Worcester in through here, and so we did meet the enemy army. And if we have a bit of a look to see what actually happened through here, there's a replay of that battle, and I'll play it out just so we can sort of see what actually did happen. But you can see we had a lot of these javelin men, and I think we just didn't need anywhere near as many of these for what we need to now do in the battle. So we've sent some of them home. If we go and have a bit of a look and start the battle, it's going to then have the range phase. Now, they have actually been able to tire out these Brythonic foot. They have exhausted some of these guys as well, and these have also been knocked back slightly. They're still fresh, back and through here, and then these are tired. And the main one that they're going to have is these Dwarf Spearmen going up against our Ostmen back and through here. So we just go and play, and then we have the actual battle. I won't go through exactly how this all works, but the Mercians have got there's no benefit. This is just an open plain, very, very wide area, and we've got enough in our army to be able to fight in these areas. So we've got so we just go into our Ostmen are already a little bit behind, but we do actually have an advantage here. So we're down to 1 hit point, but that was fine. Our guys smashed through. So even though we've only got on 1 hit point with the Ostmen, they still actually perform very, very well. This one here, we've just got Brythonic foot, which again against range units shouldn't be a problem here at all. Yep, so they smash those, and so on and so forth. This is another one as well where we really have got like a massive. Got a bit of an overkill in through there. Again, we're charging these down with armoured cavalry. 12 is the bonus we have versus 2 versus them. So just absolutely smash them. charging. Same again over through here. So like demolishing them as we go through. This one here, we've got more of the Ostman. These ones are fully formed. They shouldn't have any real problems there. A little bit. Okay, they've stayed in the line. We didn't lose anything from our side. We've got to try to preserve our forces as much as we possibly can. Destroyed it again. And again, against archers, it's very difficult for the archers to be able to stand up in the front line here. They really should be like our javelin men. They should be just support type units. And then we have a charge down there again as well. So they're going to now run and possibly be destroyed. There we are. So we completely wiped out their army. And that's it. So view the report. And so their army was wiped out. Their leader still managed to sort of stay alive, but we did wipe out again another big force of enemies. And while we can have this advantage, this is a good thing for us. But we need to heal up. We can see we've got a lot of units that are actually now down to low hit points with our different forces. So we're a bit tired here. And we do need to try to fix these things up. So the effectiveness is down a bit lower through there. The only one hit point for that Ostman. Effectiveness down a bit lower. So we need to rest these up. The effectiveness is low there for the Brythonic foot, and then some of these have taken a bit of a beating as well. Now I think that we may be moving some of these ones back that are actually a bit injured. So let's just go and see. I'm guessing that's what the decision would have been with this army through here. No, they're all pretty healthy. Yeah, no, I've kept. I don't know why I've kept the poor ones there. Anyway, they're moving back across into this other region. I don't know if this one's moving up to then go and try to join in with other forces. We could move this army back as well, like this one here, or we can just keep it where it is, I'm thinking. I mean, we do need to take this location. We also have like a garrison there, a Mercian garrison with just 4 units. This one here's got 8 units. If I could take this town here, that would be a good one. If we have a bit of a look at the actual town itself, we can see there that it's got a fortified village, a minor stockpile, and a defensive burg in through there as well, which gives it an extra wall. That's an extra wall as well. The siege resistance goes up fairly high. So acts as a strength 15 garrison to repel raids. So there's a fair bit of, they've got a bit of strength in around this particular location. This is their seat of power. I don't know whether to take it yet or to just try to heal up. But if I leave it for too long, England and Mercia will then join forces, or what's left of them. And also Northumbria. Are they moving up to try to join up with Northumbria? I just don't know. And if we go and sort of turn this off, we can sort of see there's a bit of fog of war in around away from where our army actually is. That's why I'm thinking. No, I think I'll still stay back in here with this force. Maybe sort of just keep them on the borders in through this other side. We do need to heal up, so I think I'll stay where I am in this instance, just in here. So we've got Gronwy, which is in through here. No royal lineage, but he is a good commander. He's not very good at defending, but he is good at offensive. But we do need to heal up. Our manpower is going down with this army in the field, and I think we just have to keep it where it is. Overall, we're doing pretty well. I think we might even, if we end up with a big battle, I might play it out in medieval, in Field of Glory medieval, rather than using the system, or maybe we'll sort of have a look at both and go from there. In this case, we've got Worcester itself. If we have a look at the actual, what we've now taken over, this one was a stronghold site. So I'll click for more details in through there, which just gives them more garrisons. It's a tier 1 building. There was a fortified village as well, which just had the one wall and sort of low siege resistance. But I can disassemble that if I wanted to. But if I can take some of this territory, I'll try to keep it. This one here, Hereford, is also a stronghold site. Defensive Bergen through here, which does give it extra walls. Yeah, so there's a little bit in through here, and again, this is sort of then talking about what actually can then happen. And so you can see through this other side, this is the attacker. Some of the siege values of units attacking is 7, which is the units we've got marching through their territory at this point in time. And so the overall numbers, this is where the game does a good job of abstracting. If I sort of move that one out of the way, you can see besieged. There's still one wall up at this location. We've been able to sort of muscle our way through with our main army, but in this case, this smallish army of Javelineers heading back is really not really, like, they're not going to be able to besiege this effectively. If we moved our big army in, we'd be able to besiege it. So we've got the one wall up at this point in time. The attackers are 7. In through here we have some of the siege resistance of defending units is 11, and they've got some of the resistance of structures is 14, so they've got fairly good resistance in through that other side. Defensive overcrowding penalty, so defending armies larger than the frontage of the city's region battlefield will receive a penalty. So this is for the defenders. In this case, they're fine, like they don't need to worry about that one through there. And then they've also got defenders have no leader, so they don't have any leadership. We don't have any leadership either. So it's a fairly simple aspect to that one. If I did grab that army that was sort of like marching through the territory there, I can tell them to go and do different things. For example, we can assault the fortified structure at the next opportunity, which means that they would then be going up against the walls, and they would be absolutely smashed if they did that one. So we don't want to be doing that, of course. Just don't know if this one's heading, I think it's heading up this way. I think we wait here one turn. So I think we'll just stay where we are in that one turn through there. If we have a look at England itself and go to diplomacy, we'll just see who is actually in charge here. This is Edric. So King Edric, previously known as Hugh Roxby. So ruling since 4 turns, so for 2 years. We managed to kill the English king fairly early on in the wars. We happened to catch him with an army that wasn't strong enough with ours. So what do we know about him? His military is 0. He's a bad diplomat, man of the people. So he'll end up sort of causing issues. Married to Dame Audrey Grey. Heir is John, who is weak, and there's a newborn chance of 17%. So we don't know much about him. It's a petty kingdom, of course, with England. And so he's really the person in charge. And we can see then through there that at the moment he's got different vassals back and through this other side as well, where he's at war with Dubith, which is actually our vassal, and also with us. And his war score is -44 at this point in time. So he's suffering because of the loss in battle. We look at Mercia as well. Mercia is the vassal, East Anglia, Northumbria, Wessex. He does have a royal marriage with Wessex, so that's interesting as well. And there's a royal marriage there with Norway. Now Normandy is not part of that mix, and that may mean that we're not going to see the Norman invasion. It may actually have, now with us killing off Harold Godwinson, it may actually end up being that's the end of the promises that were then made to the Normans, so that they may not sort of come through with it. If we have a bit of a look and see, we do get to sort of see what's going on. Like if we go and click on diplomacy and through here, this is William the Conqueror. They're just a duchy at this point in time. But you can see there's the war with France, Champagne, Blois, and Berry back and through this other side. So there's a big, like they've only just sort of started whatever war they're actually against the French. So they're otherwise occupied, which is sort of interesting. If we have a look at things like Wessex, we can sort of now see that there's a bit of difference in through here. So if we have a look at Wessex. His liege to England is a royal marriage, but you can see that we're not actually at war with Wessex, so they decided not to go to war. If we go to East Anglia, they're at war with us. So there's they'll send a smallish army to then go and assist the others. Northumbria is going to be an interesting one as well. They've got a largest territory, so they're probably sort of bringing their army to bear, and that's why probably the English army. The decimated English army is now probably marching north to be part of Seward the Stout's forces to then sort of march south against us. That may be what this other army is doing. So they may be going back up through here, this forest land, into this other area. We still actually have another hill land in through there, and then we've got other forest in through this other side. We do actually have hills around us. There are our best fighting area at the moment is actually the plains. And we've already taken over the 2 plains that were close by, here and here. We've come out of the hills of Wales and attacked with an army that was built for fighting on the plains. It would be good to get more, but we just really can't afford to do it, as in terms of more foot soldiers, so we can sort of fight in the closer terrain. What's that one there? That's also that's a plain as well. So this one we could actually end up fighting in through that other side. Anyway, they're of course vassal to England, and that they're at war with us. There's also, I noticed that Scotland was also having some problems in through here as well. Looks like Norway and Scotland may be at war. Yeah, so they're at war with they're at war with Norway. So the poor old Scotland. So Macbeth is in a bit of trouble in through that other side as well. Having a quick look around just to sort of complete this one. No treaties over through here. It looks like Ireland is being left alone pretty much. So none of those are really sort of worrying too much about what's going on. Now Britannia back and through this other side. They've got Conan. Conan the Barbarian. So he's actually now he's again. There's no real wars there, but France certainly is at war now with Normandy. So that's interesting to sort of see what's actually happening in through there with the actual with the fights. It's almost like the that Picardy. That's interesting there. Why would that be it? That may have started the war. No, they're separate again to Normandy, but they happen to be fighting against France. It's getting convoluted. Luxembourg is at war as well, but there's more wars sort of going off in different territories. So we have a lot of isolated wars in this particular session, this particular playthrough. We'll just continue with what we're doing. By the way, when I start to do diplomacy, we end up with a different map mode. I might just quickly go through those. So the first, if we unselect all of them, we then just get to see terrain. And this is very important for us to plan how we then attack. And the way it works with the attacks is that, like, for example, we've got the Gloucester, which is a forested region. And this will then have, if I go and click on that area, it will then have a frontage. If we have a bit of a look and see what each of these actually are. So Gloucester is a forest, and you'll see there it's got the frontage of 8. And whereas the and with a flanking of 0 essentially, so you can't really use your cavalry all that effectively in a forest, but in the plains, for example, of Worcester, we've got actually an open plain which has got a frontage of 18 with a 6 flank attack. So if you've got superior cavalry, which we've got a lot of cavalry, they will fight very effectively with that frontage, which is about five lines down from the when we have that tooltip open. It's got frontage 18. So this allows for big armies fighting with lots of cavalry that will then sort of be able to come around. So you need to have strong infantry and strong cavalry. You need groups that will then fight well out in the plains. So we certainly have the advantage. If they do come this way, we're in a good position unless it's a massive army that comes against us. So I think we'll just stay where we are for one turn here, rather than take them into the forest. The forest is not really our friend. Again, if we go and have a look at the actual armies, the armies that we have, we've got the different groups. So we've got our armoured noble cavalry back and through this other side. If I press control, I can then sort of see other details about them. And you'll see there that down the bottom there it says clumsy, and we have an attack penalty and a defensive penalty, but it's only active in forest, swamp and mountainous terrains. And so we actually end up being poor in the forest. So we want to stay out of the forest if we can. We can still work in the hills, which is fine, just not the mountains. And we do actually have mountains back in through here. Gwynedd in North Wales. I'm going to butcher all these names, but that is a mountainous region, and so even though we've got all these cavalry, they're not very good in that region. We have the Ostmen. Now the Ostmen are clumsy as well in forests. So we don't fight well in the forest. We have to sort of almost keep out of there. We've got normal noble cavalry. Again, these will be ungainly, and so they have a lower attack penalty. Like they're not as bad as the fully armoured cavalry, but these actually do fight a little bit worse in the forests as well. And then we've got the Brythonic foot. Now these are hastily levied forces, but there's no negative, so these will actually fight fairly effectively in the forest. And then we've got our early light javelin back and through here, which are good skirmishers, and that's pretty much all that they actually are. So they can essentially fight anywhere. Now, historically, it was these sorts of troops that were the main fighting troop of Wales because of the mountains and hills. But we've come out of the mountains and hills to take on with an army that's been built for this. So we're using heavy infantry with the Ostmen, and so these are sort of like a heavy fighting force that we actually have. Also, another thing that was actually mentioned in the lens on Snapshot, which if we should talk about, is the composition of armies and of this period. I'll just have a quick drink. And so the armies that we have are modelled in different ways within the game. So let's just quickly go over that as well. If we have a look at these guys in through here. Where do we see that one? We should see it. Now you can see it at the very top. It says number 1, Armoured Noble Cavalry, Heavy Cavalry, Standing Army Unit. And you can see down on just left of where I'm hovering, on next to the little 25, just on the side there, there's like a yellow symbol with a cavalry. That shows standing armies. If we go to the next one across, this one is not silver. This is just this is a levy, which means this has been levied. And so we've got a silver symbol through there. These ones are also yellow or gold. And so these are actually, again, standing army units. These will be levied again. So infantry that's been levied. And then these are also just levied as well. So we end up with a fairly high levy force. The standing armies are not big in this era, which is what was said also in the historical summary. And so we have this designation where these are different. Now we have a certain number of units we can always just keep in our army, and we want to make sure that we try to ultimately end up with a good collection of powerful either levy or standing army units that we can then sort of just keep around for the coming attacks. So that will be very, very important. In this instance, we've got these 3 in through there. We've got 3, 4, 5, and really these are going to be fairly expensive. So 6, 7, 8, 9, essentially back and through there. So we've got 9 that are reasonably, reasonably expensive for us to sort of then keep track of. If we have a look again back up through here, and I always forget where this actually is, but we do actually have a limit of what we can then go and do. And I always forget where it actually is. It's not going to be under claims, realm traits, no, summed abilities. Yeah, it should be in here. Retinue allowance is 10. And I don't know if we can hover over that to show it. But this means we don't pay upkeep on armies up to size 10. We only start to pay for the units that are beyond those first 10 in terms of the actual gold and so on and so forth. But we still have to replenish them with our manpower. And so we do actually have the military upkeep is fairly high because we're away from home. And we do actually have a large force of these javelineers. Now, the others will actually, you'll see that we've got like a star next to these different cavalry. That means that they're getting experience. And we want to keep them getting the experience that they actually have. Now, the Ostmen that we actually have, these are not mercenaries, but these are actually levies that we've got, which are very much the sort of like the offshoot of the Vikings. And so these have become extremely powerful axemen. So if we just go and hover over through these ones and through here, they've got a high combat power, good attack. They've got a city assault bonus. These are very, very strong units in the Viking tradition, whereas the Brythonic Foot are not anywhere near as powerful. They've only got an attack of 6. They do have a city assault bonus of +1. Yep. So in this case as well, as we look halfway down, it's got the food usage in through there, but the upkeep itself is money 0 because it's a retinue, and so we don't pay for the money, we don't pay for the metals, and but we do pay for manpower. You'll see through there, we do pay a little bit of manpower for these units because there's still actually a retinue as such. They're part of that 10 that we had a look at. That's sort of how that one is then sort of calculated. These are probably not, these aren't levied, and so there's a retinue there, but some of the other ones in through here are not, and so we end up paying a little bit more with what we actually have through there. You can see there manpower 1, base 5 usually, but so the more we're over that 10, the more we then start to pay for things. And so you can see that we do actually have like a fairly high manpower cost that is coming through, and the more of these units we actually have levied, the tighter it is or the harder it is for us to then sort of maintain our manpower. We may have to start to remove some forces from our army. Maybe this army here will look to getting rid of some of those. So anyway, it's the standing units we want to sort of try to promote and keep going. The third type we can get, if we go back into the regional decisions, we can bring in a mercenary company. And so if we bring a mercenary company, acquire the services of a mercenary company, the nature of it depends on your nation, with some possible variations. Mercenaries have high upkeep in money, but are often proficient. Disbanding them might have some side effects, though, as they can turn into marauders. And so if we've got like a lot of money, then that becomes very, very viable for us to then start to use mercenary companies to supplement our actual forces. But in this case, we don't really need it. And you can see there when I hover, like it's going to cost me 200 gold just to sort of employ this particular one as well. That's the cost in playing this particular card. These regional decisions, these cards are incredibly important with what does go on, and of course makes the game extremely replayable because you don't know exactly what you're going to go and get. So we've got a few different things. Actually, the other card that's worth having a look at there is the recruit non-standard units, and these will then get more armored noble cavalry. But we've got enough of these now. I've got two of these cards. So I'm going to keep those just in case I need them. But let's just sort of keep that one where that is at this point in time. Let's end our turn here. I think that's pretty much all we have to do. We don't have to do moves. So we're still... Actually, we did finish building in the bottom there. They've moved into there. That's interesting. Now they're building up. Our force here repaired a little bit. Now it's still processing the turn. It's a WeGo system where as things move across, now if we had have moved into this territory, we may have to attack into this hill. We might have a look and see if it's viable. So we're still in the top with our authority. I haven't even spoken about authority. Authority and legacy are two different things. Legacy, you can sort of ignore unless you're trying to get a winning score in the game. This is sort of like how the game is scored on this side. But the authority is really central with the way, and it models the way that the medieval forces and feudal societies were then sort of run. And this then, like again, we've sort of covered this again in other episodes, but in its essence. You're trying to get ahead with your petty kingdom or whatever it might be, and it does take a bit of time. Some of these, like the Holy Roman Empire, for example, is almost ready to go to the next phase, as is Van And through here as well. I don't know where I don't know where Van And is, but I know where the Holy Roman Empire is. So this is like one of the German provinces is ready to go up. We might have a look. This is a stable fractious empire. And we have a stable petty kingdom. We're also a stable petty kingdom. This one is ready to go. Once it gets the fifth of these little, and the only chance you have of getting these are if you've got enough authority to be in the top, top portion. These guys here, like Scotland, for example, have sort of now dropped out of that top area, and so their overall authority is not high enough for them to be able to collect these progress tokens. And then down the bottom here, we've got a small collection of those that actually are picking up these aging tokens where they can go back into a different way. You can see there Wessex has just come out of this bottom area, but it's picked up 3 of these over the start of the game. So now they're an ascending earldom. We might have a look and see if we can sort of see how that one works for them, because at least they're nice and close. In this case, they could disintegrate backwards, and this all comes down to their overall authority. They've got an overall authority there of 18, and I don't know if we can see the history of that. We may be able to. Actually, I haven't shown much of the actual ledger. You can see that Mercia is actually Mercia is, we're right in the middle of fighting Mercia, and Mercia is really struggling with their authority because of the wars. So the wars are really affecting them negatively. They've only got one authority. They've probably spent it on other things. Let's have a look at Mercia. So they're ready to have big problems with their earldom. Let's just go and click on OK there. And so we'll have a few different things that do come through. If we go back to Mercia, and I don't know if we can sort of see it in through here at all. Probably the best way of doing this is to have a look in the ledger. And if we have a look at history, what history does is each of these gives you different overviews depending on who you're actually looking at and what they're doing and how they're sort of working. If we go to authority, we can then sort of see, this is a summary of what has actually happened in through there. We can see the authority change for us is 2.7. We can actually sort by this to see who's actually got the highest growth in authority. Like if I go and sort by authority change, where was that one? Authority changing through there. So we can see there that we're actually doing pretty well. Like, you know, we're sort of, we're fairly high up in terms of the amount of authority we get. Oh, maybe not all that much. Maybe not all that much. But if we have a look at, so we can sort things out by looking at these different things, the authority change, the actual, you know, the claims that are sort of then, that we then actually have in through here as well. So the more claims you have, the more authority you then get as well. So there's a whole lot of different things that actually impact the authority. And it's sort of one of these things that's probably going to take too long to really explain exactly how it all works. It's very, very convoluted, but it does model, again, medieval society and particularly feudal society. If we go back to history though, and so we're looking at Wales in through here. If we have a look at our authority in through this other side, so this is the authority that we've gained over the course of the game. I'm not exactly sure where we declared war. I'm thinking we declared war in around here somewhere. I don't think it was there, because I don't think we get the boost to that until we start to win battles. So that would possibly be where we took the English king, I would think, because the current King of England's only been around for 2 years, or now 2.5 years. Each one of these is 6 months. And so that would have been the big battles that we had, which then gave us a lot of authority based on the winning those particular fights. And so we've got a big boost there, which has sort of now put us into that top rung. But we can spend authority to do different things. So in this case, we've actually got our authority sort of increasing in through this other side as we sort of look at it sort of moving up through the rungs, the ranks. We can go to, now we've got the factions in through there. I thought we could actually change the filter to be other things. Let's just go down to Mercia. I thought we could actually have enemies in there as well as a filter. So we'll just look for Mercia, and we'll sort of see how they progressed as well. There we go, Mercia. Yeah, look at this. So what happened with them was that they were doing pretty well. They got up to here, and then, like, if we look at the wars, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So they were doing reasonably well. They spent some authority to do something up until that point through there. We then went into the wars in around this period, and after that, their authority started to drain. Then it dramatically dropped. And so they've now dropped into the bottom rungs, and so they're now in a lot of trouble. And so with what they actually have within their earldom is set to collapse in different ways. I don't even know if we can show this. I'll see if we can do it. So if we go into Mercia itself, I don't know if we can show it with their actual... No, I don't think we can do it. If I just have a quick look through here. That's not it. That's armies, trade details. I can show it in mine. If I go to Wales, so we're a stable petty kingdom. Now they're an earldom, so it's a bit different. But as they age, as they get those aging tokens, they'll end up going into an unstable earldom, and they'll end up with like something like in turmoil, where they end up with all sorts of different penalties. And so it's very hard to then come back out of those. We're stable at the moment, but if we collapse back, this is why we have to keep our authority high, because there's all sorts of problems if your authority does drop. If we manage to get progress tokens and then go up even higher, we've got an ascending petty kingdom, which we then get a few bonuses with what does go on. It's sort of funny because we end up with a with a regional loyalty bonus of 5, but then we have a revolt risk increase of 15. We become sort of a bit more of a target and a bit more noticeable. The stewardship penalty goes down because there's more for us to do. The authority penalty goes down because we've just picked up a lot of like an authority bonus, and then the character force pool bonus goes up, so we can get more characters. So it's one of these things where it doesn't necessarily mean everything's great. But it then does lead on to other things. If I keep on going this way, we end up with going from an ascending petty kingdom to a young kingdom, and so we continue on through that way, and then we end up with from the young kingdom. If we go backwards, we end up with in a civil war where we may end up with a lot of collapse. So there's a lot going on here. Now I want to actually ultimately try to end up with a lot of Mercian territory. Let's have a look and see how we went. These guys are still a little bit weak, but they're not terrible. Now we've still got this thing running forward somewhere. We'll come back and sort out our army, but I'm thinking we go into the hills here. If we have a look at the frontage of the hills, it's a frontage of 10 with flanking 2. I can attack fairly effectively in the hills. So let's go and take this Mercian. I think I'll just start the process of moving this army down. So I'll just go and move this army into this particular region. Oh God, I keep on clicking the wrong thing. Now I've got to be very careful that I don't highlight this and then right click, because that will be then telling them to march and assault. That's not what we want. We just want to march in. So we're now marching into that territory. You can see that we've got different arrows that sort of then go into different areas as well, but that's all we wanted to be doing in through there. So that's going to be fine. These guys in through this other side, I'm just going to move them back up into this hill territory. I may even move them. Actually, no, I'll keep them where they are. This army here, I've got 6 units. Yeah, our manpower generation is under threat here. I might ditch some of these actually. So we've got them back into our territory. Let's start to like, these are just levies, so we can actually release these levies now if we wanted to. And so I'm just going to go and I'll disband. If I go and split off, I'll split off one of them and just sort of see how it does work. And if I just go and disband that one, disband this group next turn, eliminating all units, it can't be done at sea. Mercenaries can turn into marauders. Yep, so that one will be disbanded next turn. Not sure what that's going to do with our manpower. And manpower went down a lot. This army is so strong. I think we can just do it. Actually, we can do it with the whole army. I might just leave 2. So if I just go and select a big group of these. And we'll split them off as well. Okay, and so this army, this third army, we'll disband those as well. And just try to get our manpower back up. I don't think that they'll attack into these hills. I think that they're maybe trying to come back up this other side. We'll just keep them where they are. And so in Gwynedd, a competent noble with authority has ordered the construction of village roads. So this is good. This is in our capital, in an effort to develop the region. So if you have a look at Gwynedd as an example, so we'll just click it again just to get the actual territory. So it's coming in one turn. So village roads is being requested in the region, which is great. So current stockpile, it'll help us with infrastructure. There'll be a lot of good bonuses that will come from those different roads. So that's what's being built there, just out of the authority of one of the local nobles, which is great. So we've got Havoki said, redeem stretch you out. Thank you for that. Saying hello from Brazil. How are you going? I'm going well, thank you. It's I guess it's sort of funny because we've got like things like the Steam Winter Sale, but you and I are from places that are just getting hotter and hotter at the moment in the southern hemisphere. So it's sort of I hope it's not too hot for where you are. It's been very humid where we are. We're in Australia, and it's we've got a lot of rain, a lot of humidity. So it's sort of I'm in a sort of semi-tropical part of Australia. So it's pretty hot where you are as well. Yeah, it's sort of funny. Like the temperatures haven't been super hot, but the humidity has been close to 100% all day long for the last couple of weeks. So it's a bit cooler today. It was a bit more, bit less cloud cover, and a bit more sun out today. But it's so it's quite pleasant today. But it's been pretty nasty. But Brazil, of course, would be very, very much the same, I would think. Okay, let's continue on. So we've got so that's actually happening in through there. That's one thing that's actually happening. So we've got the village roads. Received a new regional decision. Ennoble a petty landowner. This way, I'll have a look and see what that one actually does do. Let's have a look and see. So we're up to 8. We're up to half of our allocated amounts. We can always sell these off if we have to. Among the freemen, a few, I keep on saying freemen, but I'm thinking of June. But anyway, among the freemen, a few now hold a decent parcel of land. They can be ennobled into minor nobility, thus strengthening our hold in the region. We'll promote a freeman into a noble population. A 25 legacy bonus is granted by doing this. Now, the legacy is the score of the game. It's not important. It's almost, I just completely ignore it because it's not really important. So the region must be owned. It doesn't cost me anything to do this. So what this does, this is actually an interesting card for us to pick up. And it's one of these things where it would be handy to get more of these, I'm thinking. Now, if I shift right click, it reduces the odds of having this decision in the future. If I shift left click, it increases the odds. Let's actually increase that a little bit. Now, I've also already got this one increased. I've now got this one increased as well. So, so we can sell this one off if we wanted to. But this one, what this one will then go and do is it will promote a freeman into a noble population. And if we have a look at the group that we actually have in through here, we're seeing different groups at Anglesey. If we just go maybe to Gwynedd, which is our capital, and have a bit of a look to see if this would be sort of then viable. At the moment, we've got freemen in through there, Welsh, Christian, Catholic freemen, 2 of them in there. We've got a couple of them in through that other side. And then we've just got a peasant. So we've only got 1 peasant, but a lot of freemen. Back over through here, we do have 1 Christian Catholic noble, so working in stewardship and authority. And so this one gives us different sorts of things, for example, like the stewardship, which then does lead to authority. So we end up with more authority if we do it. If we go across to here, for example, we only have 1 freeman, and everyone else is just peasants working the land. Now, the peasants can't really, if I go and click on those, there's no bonus for them to be then working in the local markets. So we have to be careful about what we then take away if we did move something across into another territory. At Anglesey, we do have 2 of them, and we are building a shoemaker's shop. It would mean moving that one away. There's no screaming rush to do this. Back in through this other side as well, we've got 2 freemen in through here. We're not building anything at this point in time, so we probably want to start building something in there as well, in Powys. Yeah, again, the stewardship is, England does have a claim on that territory. And then we've got this one as well. We've got 1 freeman, but nothing much being built. Yeah, we might start building a few things as well, I think. Just go back to this and just click it a second time just to see. We've got the shoemaker, village roads, and the astrologer's house is being built in through there. And we've just got a balance coming in both of these. I might keep it. I might just keep it for a couple of turns and then sort of look to play it again at some other point in time. I don't know if we'll be able to catch these before they then move off somewhere else, but if we can, we'll have to sort of come back and take on this smallish army. Received a new regional decision. Yep, we've got that one through there. That's already been done. So we can do it with any of our actual core or the actual provinces that we control, not the ones that we've taken over in warfare. So we'll just leave that one where that is. Now, in terms of the building, I think I will still. If we finish, we haven't finished. Got that one through there. In through here, we do actually have open slots at both Morganwig and Powys. Let's go into here and just start to see what we can build. Now we have a flax field. Okay, if we just hover over this one, can already be imported from Wiltshire and Worcester. So we've got the within a trade range of 3. There is 1 needed, 1 consumed, and 2 produced. Just food and infrastructure. Okay, it's charcoal burner. Yeah, no one needs it just yet. There's a lot producing that one. Traders Borough. Now this one will give us 11 money, requires 5 population or more, milestone structure. So this building will provide a pivotal role as it will unlock several other buildings of importance. So this is sort of like a starting point for other things. We might have a look at that one through there. We also then have the closed settlement. So it changes fortification level by +1 points. Check your fortification level in the corresponding indicator of the region panel. And so fortification is, that's just sort of showing where we are there. Fortification level 0. So this we're going to be completely overrun here with what we actually have. So if we went with a closed settlement, it will just raise it by 1. Structure is temporary and can be removed at the end of the turn. If there is a modifier, it will last 15 to 30 turns though. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure. We don't really need it at this stage. I think that's just, like you can see, we can get that one next turn if we did go and get it. The scribe. So I think that's just sort of like hastily trying to put up a temporary fortification. Yeah, I won't worry about that one there. Let me get more stewardship. I'm thinking we go back up. The flax field. Now we've got Wiltshire and Worcestershire. This ultimately will lead to more food, which isn't bad. I might just throw it in there for now, and then we'll just go down to Morganwig, back down this other side as well. Oh, sorry, that was Morganwig. Here we have another flax field. We've got a wise woman hut, which we'll get. We end up with missing bonus of money and -1 piety from drugs and herbs. So it's not great with what we actually end up having, but it does give us a reasonable health bonus and a regional loyalty bonus. So it's sort of funny because these are almost like the starts of the of witches, you know, and so on and so forth. So it's got, like, there's an event you can see on the right hand side. If at least one population is a heretic in the region, then there's also a clergy population. Then the wise woman can be burnt at the stake. There we go. So we have to be a bit careful with getting these in. We do actually have anchorage. These are useful. We've got the leather workshop. And we do actually end up with good equipment bonuses back and through there. It does cost us money. Missing bonus of 3 equipment from cotton. Needs leather, trading required. Now we need leather for that one. So we'd have to trade for it. That's why the money is so expensive. The scribe, don't really want that one. I don't know if I want any of these, to be honest. If you go and have a look and see, pick the building of your choice. This one's going to cost us authority to do this one, but we can then go and pick exactly what we want, pretty much. So there'll be a whole range of different things that we, you know, if there's something that we need that's urgent, you know, we could actually go and do that. Like, we don't have any of the building ones. So the local market, for example, we could actually grab that one if we wanted to, but it's going to cost us authority to do it. And I don't want to waste my authority just yet. So I think I don't think I'll build anything at this point in time. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it. We'll just leave it where it is. Okay, so again, we've now sort of done what we needed to do back and through here. Let's go and try to intercept this English army. We'll just see what happens with our manpower. Manpower is a bit tricky for us. We've got military upkeep is -42. Intrinsic population is 15, and then we have manpower generation total is minus. So we have regional manpower of 20. We have the -42 military upkeep, which we're going to be getting rid of most of that this turn, and then intrinsic production will be 15. So we end up with, and the intrinsic production is the buildings that we end up having that actually give us manpower. So we have different ways of getting manpower. As we go to each area as well, if I click on that one again, you can see that we've got manpower of +9 in through this particular region. So we do actually have an overall increase back in through here. If we have a look at Gwynedd, for example, manpower of +2 in this location. If we go down into Anglesey, across into Anglesey, manpower of +6 is I'm not sure where that one's coming from, to be honest. Church, the hamlet. Yeah, we're getting 5 there from the hamlet, and I'm not sure how we're getting the extra 1. base manpower generation of 1, structures of 5. So the hamlet is giving us 5 manpower. So as we sort of get people into villages, we end up with being able to raise bigger armies. Again, modelling what happened in this period, which is really quite nice. So it's nice the way the game does work with that one. So getting like all these little bonuses have such a bearing on the way you can then play the game. So manpower is +6 there. This one here, we do actually have a town crier, but none of these are really giving us big manpower generation. There is one building somewhere in here that's giving us 1, but that would be good for us to get another one. And through here we are building an astrologer. We're not really getting any. We're only getting +1 intrinsic from the region itself. In through here we have +1 as well, just intrinsic back into this other side. We're getting +2 from here. We've got the Freeman cottages there, which gives us another +1. But if I can get more hamlets, that would actually be ideal. It means we can then start to create even bigger armies over time. So there's all sorts of these little. There's so many different things that have an impact on what you can then do in the game. It's very intricate and convoluted, but it's also fairly intuitive once you sort of start to get into it. It's extremely well thought out. Now we're moving across. I think we've sort of pretty much done everything we have to do. Okay, so several signs tell us the next few months are going to be particularly harsh for men and crops. We've received a new regional decision in Gwynedd, Noble. Yeah, okay, so we've got the village roads. So that's the interesting one there, is that we're going to end up, at the moment it's fair, like in the 6 months that we've got, but we're coming into an area that's not going to be fair through this into the next turn. Let's just go and see if we can catch this English army as it's moving through the hills. We'll have to just follow it, I think, depending on where it goes. Now, it will move off. It's possibly going to be able to move faster than we can. And it has gone in and is besieging us. So we've got defending. We've defending with 10 units against their 6 units. We only have a combat power of 37, and they've got a combat power of 50. Now, what we can do here is we can export the battle, or we can just play it out. I think I'll do it both ways, so we can sort of see what actually does happen here. Now, they've attacked into the hills. This is Edward Goldingham. We don't actually have a leader for it from our side. Combat power of 50 with only 6 units. Now, this will be an interesting one to play out with the actual battle, because we still have a frontage here of 8, which means that we have an advantage over them. But let's export it anyway, and then we'll just come back. I'm just going to override the exported battle. It has been exported out, but let's now just cancel that, and we'll just load back in the game. So pre-battle, yeah. So we'll just go and play this one out through here. So we'll just go and load, and I'll just show you, but we'll play the battle out in kingdoms, so you can sort of see that in action. I find it more immersive to play the battles out in the Field of Glory Kingdoms tabletop sort of simulation style, more so than in the game. The game, it'll be interesting to see, because this will be one where we actually have the bonus of frontage, but we actually have a big negative with the forces we've actually got going in. In fact, maybe it's not even worth doing this as an external. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to beat it anyway, but let's just view the battle. So we only have, we do actually have some peasants. That's pretty much it. They've got they're going to be able to come through with their Norman mercenary knights. So they've got mercenaries fighting for them, and then they're actually using some from Normandy. They've also got early spearmen, got peasant militia, and then light archers. Let's just see what happens. Now we're going to be able to. They've got a fair few archers, and we've got a lot of javelin men. So we'll do the ranged phase. Now we do have these two to help fight the first bit, but we're really going to get smashed in through here. They're now exhausted, those peasants. These have also been hit fairly hard, but we do actually have flankers on this side here. Let's just see what actually happens in through this other side. So we're going to not do very well here. They've got we've still got a chance, but we've only got like one effectiveness and one hit point. We're going to have to win this fight, and we didn't. So we get smashed there with the peasants. This is where we do have a big chance to actually do fairly well. They've only got 1 hit point left. Stalemate, and both got killed, which is not good for us. So in this case, we get a slight win. And now we go with the flanking shot. With the flank, we get extra big bonuses to the points, and we've wiped them out. So we've done reasonably well so far. It's 2 wiped out from their side, 2 wiped out from our side. Now we're going to get smashed by the knights, but we may do okay here. Yeah, we did. So they're down. So this is a very interesting battle. Skirmisher units, they both take 1 point, and then we have the we come in now with the flanking. At this point in time, I think we've got the advantage. So if we now just go and play it, yeah, there's now a pursuit phase where we actually ended up fighting and winning that particular battle. So Dubith was actually in there fighting with us. So we still actually had all of our forces before we disbanded them. So that was lucky. We just go and view the report, making through this other side. So we did lose some forces, but we did manage to sort of defeat most of the English forces as they were coming through. Now that means that they're going to be retreating back into our other army, which is good. So we'll just close that one off. I'm just wondering whether we really do fight the other one, because as in the one that we exported, I don't think I'll bother, because there's nothing really all that interesting. In this case, we've got 14 units versus 2 units. Again, not really worth fighting. So let's just go and view the battle. I mean, it's one of these things again where I'll view the battle. Unfortunately, I think we could end up in trouble here. If I export it, I know I can get through this one pretty much unscathed. Let's just view the battle. Nothing. Completely ineffective. So we've got our Ostmen attacking in through this other side as well. But we have, again, we're going to be able to smash them, but we may lose our Ostmen. And I don't want that to be the case. So this is one where we've got the, it's like we've got one slight advantage because we came in to attack. They've now retreated back out, and they've already suffered a little bit of losses in through here with their early spearmen. So the early spearmen aren't going to, they're going to struggle a little bit against our Ostmen. Yeah. So we smash those. They're down to 1 hit point. And then we do the flanking maneuver with the Brythonic foot. And they've been wiped out. Now this is where it's going to get tricky for us. We do have an advantage here, but they've got a lot of effectiveness and hit points. And this is out in the plains where they do excel a little bit. So we lost 1 effectiveness, which is actually okay. I'm happy with that. Happy with that result. That's actually nothing too bad. Then we actually should be able to do well with the flanking. A little bit of damage done, and then we've got even more. The pursuit. We don't get to use these flankers just yet, but we will now be able to chase these down. But it wasn't enough to kill them, and so they're down to just 1 hit point. So they did manage to survive that. So we won the battle, and took a little bit of damage, but not too much. So let's keep that result as well. When we get something a bit more meaningful for the fights, I'll then sort of play it out a bit more thoroughly. So it's still processing the turn. You can see there as the WeGo system works. They bounced in, bounced back out. We had arrived. We then attack them as they come back into what was it? That was is it Hereford? So we get another +2. We're still up in the green areas, which is good, sort of near the top of the of what we're getting with authority, but we're just not picking up these points. But that was another good win against England. We're doing well against the English. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. Be right back. That internal battle system is actually very good in the game, I've got to say. It's done incredibly well to give usually a fairly consistent result if you do play it out in the tabletop as well. Like it sort of does. Oh, here we go. We've got the harsh winter, the harsh season. So food is going to be scarce. Manpower has dropped right away. So we're still going negative with the manpower. We'll see what actually happens with that. Who's that? That's an English fleet. Edward Godingham has actually now made it away from there, so he's escaped on a boat that other territory. Let's have a look and see what else we've got. We've got the 2 battles, of course, that were fought, so back in through there. So the Welsh army has been disbanded, and some of the men, equipment and armours have back in to the reserve. And so what they will then go and do is just go and add into our metal production. Now we're actually so we only store 72 bundles of ingots fit for weapons and armour making, so we're pretty close to the maximum we have with metals. Legacy doesn't really matter that much, but in this case, our manpower is the biggest problem we actually have. Yep, so we've got regional manpower 21, military upkeep minus 39. It's still costing us a lot. Manpower generation total of minus 3. We're close. Okay, so previous turn total of 4. Previous turn spending included 7 manpower spent on units recovery. Our equipment production of 64 allows us, so we've got the so equipment, because of the high equipment that we have, allows us to maintain at most 214 musters of men ready to take arms. Now we've got nothing left, so if we needed to raise another army, we're screwed unless we get mercenaries. So so we're not able to do that. So it says manpower is a resource accumulated globally, which is used a lot by military forces for their recruitment and upkeep. If you go above your maximum, mostly determined by your overall military equipment production, 25% of the extras will be lost each turn. So we just end up not using them. But we need to we need to be the positive there. We're doing okay there. I'm just thinking whether we continue on. We've still got these other. We've got the Dubith army through there. We've got another Dubith. Where's our other ones? Yeah, there's 2 Dubith armies in through that other side now that are sort of that are not ours. So we don't actually have anything left there ourselves. So if we if we just go back through each of those. Sorry, that's now showing different things. My lord, no less than 5 foreign claims against regions of your nation are active. Increase your relations with other nations and ask them to relinquish these claims. England, for example, as it reflects badly on your authority. So we've got all these different claims coming in, which is actually diminishing our overall authority. So we do need to, again, just keep pressure up. We've got a couple of claims ourselves, but the enemies do actually have claims on us as well. So, we do have to be careful with what they do. Now, England is, like, they're losing the war. We are certainly doing well here. So we've got the battle that was fought. This is now besieged. And so we'll besiege Hereford and see if we can sort of take that from the Mercians. So the siege duration is uncertain because of the walls. The walls are reasonably good. So let's just go across. Go and click on that one through there. That's okay. If you look at the claims. So we have Cheshire and Gwynedd, the Welsh claims, but then we've got we also have claims in Cambridge, Kent and Northampton. So we've got 2 that we control, 3 that we don't. But these are going to be a little bit trickier for us to get, so I'm not really going to worry too much about those. Battle being fought in Hereford between Wales and England. We saw that one before. We won't worry about that one. And then we have, you received a new regional decision, restore order. So restore order. So troubles are boiling in the region and the population is unruly. Depending on your ruler and government, different measures will be taken, ranging from easier life conditions to outright executions. Unrest will usually be removed and loyalty restored, though with or without side effects. So we need to have units with at least 1 unit, and region must have a loyalty no greater than 50. Now, I think that our loyalty is actually higher than that, and this is technically not our territory, so we don't actually have control of that just yet. So so we are besieging back and through this other side. This is so Mercia. They've got the unbreached walls, and so if we have a look at, if we go and click on that one, we can then sort of see that they're besieged. We've got like the siege duration is uncertain. There's an overall siege ranking of -1. This is the sum of the attacker forces minus the sum of the defender forces. So we're actually doing reasonably well there. Yeah, so we sort of we do actually have like we've got leadership bonuses and so on and so forth in through this other side. So we don't quite have what we need in through this other side, but we're doing okay. So this is the sum of the siege values. Now remember that the infantry unit that we have has got like a +2 to the siege. So the infantry that we have is very, very good with the sieges. So we're not seeing any other enemy armies sort of on the horizon. So I think we're actually okay just to stay there for another turn. There shouldn't be anything else we really need to be doing in through here. We do actually have a no building is under construction. Maximum number has been reached in this instance. So we're sort of now at the limits until we get more population. And so that's going to only come through growth. And growth is still happening there, 7 turns before we get the next population. Some of these may be going, yeah, it's 7 as well. So that one there is, yeah, so these are all sort of sharing their wealth. This is 12 turns. Even though it's harsh, we're doing okay here. So let's go and end our turn. And I'm just going to hope that we can break open these walls or starve them out. And then we can take on the capital after this. So still processing the turn. I don't know what that force was that landed in our vassal's territory. You can see there we're only getting +1 because of the claims against us. But we're still up there. We're still doing okay. Okay, I don't know what that was there, but the Dubath army is sort of back at home. There's a Welsh fleet. Don't know what that is. Don't know how we got that one. Anyway, let's just see. In Anglesey, a competent noble with authority has ordered the construction of village roads in an effort to develop the region. That's good. So Anglesey is also getting the roads. So even though we don't really have a lot we can do through here, they are building things up. So that's fine. You've received a new regional decision, ennoble a petty landowner. So there's another one as well. So we've got the second one of those. Let's go back to the regional decisions and just drop these ones back. So if I just go and shift right click, I can then just take it back. So it's just going to be a normal amount there that does come back through. Hang on, changing the decision odds will cost approximately 50 money. Okay, I didn't realise that. Didn't realise it cost us to do that. That's going to be okay. We'll leave that there. That's fine. And in Wales, is unable to draft enough men for its army. One unit's reported to be missing some soldiers. So this is we're now getting +5 up through here. Manpower is now coming back up again. So so we just have to be careful now. And so we do actually have this army is fine. This army is okay. Now back in through here, we've got the decision back in through that other side. Shoemaker shop has been completed, and then they're building the village roads. That's okay as well. So I think everything is actually fairly good. You can see there that while besieging Hereford in Hereford, Wales did not manage to inflict casualties on the defenders. So if we have a bit of a look and see what's happening with the siege, they've still got the one wall, and we've now got a situation where they've now got a leader back in through here, which is now taken over the siege. So this is going to make it more difficult for us. So we'll just keep it going there. Again, I'm not in any great rush because we want to build up our manpower over time if we can. We're down to 0, so we've really drained all of the manpower from Wales for this particular war at this point in time. I don't think there's anything else we need to do there, so we'll just end our turn. I like where we are. We've got a very, very defendable location. Now, there's another group coming in. Another Mercian fleet has just arrived back at Worcester. Is it Worcester, that one? I forget the name. I think it's Worcester in the forest there, which is their capital. Again, we're dropping down a little bit now. Like it's our authority is we're still up there. We've still got a good enough score to stay in the top. We're just not picking up any of these tokens. Yeah, so we've got a fleet that's actually now come back through, the Mercian fleet. Okay, what do we got? New regional decision, develop region. Okay, this one here, the develop region with at least one noble will be developed. If there is no path, one will be created, and additional food and infrastructure will be provided along with the bonus from ruler administration. If a path already exists, a road will be constructed. So region must be adjacent to one of your regions or be our own. Region must have at least one noble population. So let's go and use that now actually. Let's go and place it on our actual capital. So I'll play that card there. Okay, then we have Worcester was raided by Northumbria. So we had a raid that came in here. So actually, where's Worcester? There's Worcester there. So, but the defence easily repelled the invaders back and through that side. So this is actually controlled territory that we actually have. And then we have the next one is a powerful raid occurred in Cheshire in Wales, which is here. And Northumbria engaged and crushed all defenders. Towns and cities are burning. So this is actually now back in, so Northumbria is now starting to do raids across the borders, back up in this other region. Might just put it back on the overlay again, just so we can sort of see the ownership. I think it's actually, maybe I'll leave it off. I think. So, so in this case, we're still not getting through this siege. Although this one's short, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get back and continue to play this actually. So this will be just part 1 of 2, and so once so we'll come back and continue on because this is we're in quite an interesting position here with the way that things are sort of developing with what's actually going on. So just to sort of set the tone, we've still got the same problem in through here, but the actual power of the army, there's only 8 units in there, and they are struggling a little bit. You can sort of see that their effectiveness is dropping. They do actually have a group of militia men back in through here as well, and under the control of Egbert, who is now the leader of the siege from their perspective. From our side of things, we're actually now up to full strength, so we're doing fairly well in through here, and we're starting to now get positive manpower generation.